Well, we're actually going to go to you next, Scott. Your role is production manager, and something I notice a lot about like the craft beer community is that we say that we like craft beer, but people don't make a lot of effort to really understand what goes into making the beer and all the behind the scenes jobs that make that happen, whether it be distribution, production management, quality control. A lot of beer nerds just care about like, is it good? Do I like it? When can I get more of it? So can you kind of go into a little depth on what being a production manager is? Like what that job kind of entails?
Sure, yeah. I mean, if I was gonna, production manager is kind of an official sounding title.
Mm-hmm.
If I was gonna give it more of a fun naming, I would say I'm the guy in charge of things and stuff. That's basically kind of the way of thinking about it. So when you look at an operation like this, I mean, number one, you have two facilities. Yeah, they're on the opposite sides of the same street, but you really have to think about it in terms of it's literally two different places. They have totally different needs, totally different. It takes totally different things to run them, totally different things. They have two different goals in the beers that they're producing, how they're doing it. So there needs to be some coordination between the staff of both places and the intermingling of the two. But you also, you look at what it takes to kind of make to make all of this stuff work. And at Blank Slate, I literally, any title you could throw to an organization, I had. Mm-hmm. I was the production manager at Blank Slate, along with many other things. But obviously, as a growing organization and a successful organization, you have to divide all those roles out, obviously. So where I kind of come in, Chris has come in, head brewer, and he, all the stuff that he just said. Where I come in is what I'm really looking to do and really looking to be is more of kind of the background. The stuff no one ever sees, and honestly, it's not that sexy and no one gives a shit about it. But it has to happen for everything to work properly. So
yeah, I can whip up all these different recipes, but at the end of the day, if it's the fermentation's off, if the sanitation process is wrong, everybody's got. Every part of the brewing process is very, very important.
Yes. So what I'm looking at is really the integration of all parts of the process. So everything from raw materials, making sure we have all the stuff we need to brew the beers we want to brew. Whether it's stuff we've got scheduled out 3 or 4 weeks in advance, or it's, hey, there's randomly an open spot in the schedule 2 days from now. What can we brew? Like, I'm the guy who has to make it happen, where we can get the stuff we need to do for these guys to do what they need to do. It also works through just the process flow of things. There's the engineering side of things. I mean, there's always stuff that breaks, stuff that needs to be fixed, stuff that needs to be maintained on a regular basis, stuff that just needs to be dealt with. It's as you mentioned, the people who are just want to know what is it, when can I get it, and how much can I get.
Bloggers that need to be throttled.
Whoever they may be, doesn't matter. Whoever they may be. The point is, there's a sexy part of, hey man, you can put out a Facebook announcement. We're going to brew this really cool, awesome beer, and we're going to do a can release or bottle release. Come on this date to get it. That's great and that's wonderful. There's 1,000 other things in the background that have to happen for that to actually get pulled off and get pulled off properly, and the beer to be correct, and the beer to be correct when it needs to be correct. So what I'm really kind of coming in as is kind of, I don't want to say the puppeteer, but like the kind of guy in the background who's like, all right, this is what we want to accomplish. Here's all the 40 things we need to do to make that happen that no one knows about or realizes. And I'm going to take care of those things so that on the public side of things or the front of the house side of things, it's all beautiful and wonderful and seamless. And it's like, oh my God, look at all this cool stuff all the time. Well, I'm the guy in the background that's making sure all these guys on the brewing side have what they need when they need it to do the best possible thing they can in the best way that they can with the highest quality and the best innovation that they can. So I'm moving into, honestly, you could argue it's a very unsexy role, and I'm totally okay with that. I am totally okay with doing all of that, because it's honestly, with all the things that I did at Blank Slate and all the things that I was involved in, that honestly, number one, were not my forte, but I had to do them. Just that's the way it was. At the end of the day, the stuff that I'm good at, and I've learned this through the years, stuff that I'm good at is the engineering, the process, recipe formulation as well to some extent, and
absolutely.
in the background of all of that. That's the stuff I'm good at, and honestly, that's the stuff I enjoy doing. That's the stuff I started the brewery to do. The problem was I used to get to do that 5% of the time. The other 95% was a bunch of other bullshit that I didn't want to deal with, but I had to. I'll be perfectly honest. I had to, and I tried to make it work as best I could. But look, you can't be good at brewing and engineering and sales and marketing and accounting and finance and yada, yada, yada. You cannot be good at all those things. There were things I was not as good at, but the things that I love to do and the things I am good at are now all the things I get to be in charge of. And I get to be in charge of it with a team of people who are behind it. And we have the ability to pull off a lot of things that I never could have pulled off at Blank Slate on my own. So the idea of doing that is super exciting to me. And that's exactly what we're going to do. It's going to take us a little while to get it all in place. You know, Rome wasn't built in a day and all that fun stuff. But that's exactly what we're going to do.
Awesome.
So, no, I mean, this sounds like a much more higher level role. Are you going to be mashing in it all ever? Are you going to get your hands dirty and brew?
So I have.
He did wear his boots today.
They're white.
I clean
George Washington style.
They're
nice and shiny. He's like George. I know. He's like George.
They're dirty white.
Rode the white horse. He's got the white boots.
They're
George Washington. He's like, yeah. He's the person who said.
They're dirty white. It's the chief boots, man. It's dirty. It's a long. There's a long story.
First thing I noticed when he walked in today, I was like, "Oh my god, those are fantastic."
So the super quick background story of that. My father was a fire chief in a small town for 30 plus years. When you're the fire chief, this is like the biggest oxymoron in the world. When you're the fire chief, you have white pants, white boots, and a white coat. And you fight fires. Yeah. So immediately, like after a week, it turns gray and dirty and gross. But it's still like you can pick them out from everybody else and it's a totally different color. So that's what I always call my chief boots. They're white. The day I got them, they were as white as a new fallen snow. 2 days later, they were gray. From using them. So that's just how it is. So I always
But he
called
spit shines them and they're still white.
So I always called them my chief boots. But I'm a firm proponent, no matter what level of the organization that I am, and this was always how it was, at Blank Slate as well. But I knew everything that was going on in every aspect of the brewing operation day to day. The guys who brewed with me at Blank Slate, they learned how to brew because I taught them what to do. Obviously, I did everything myself for a while and built it out from there. I don't feel confident, but I also feel it's fairly disingenuous to be ordering brewers around, go do this, go do that, here, do this, if I don't know how to do it. So I am digging into the process, and I will be digging into the process. There won't be a process in either of these breweries that I don't know how to do myself and couldn't do myself if I had to. I don't know how long it's going to take me to get through all that. That is the goal. That way, when new people come in, when they're training, it's not just, hey, here's the book of procedures that someone wrote someday. Go learn how to do this. No. I'm going to give you that book. We wrote it, and you're going to do it. And when you go when you feel like you've read it well enough, I'm going to go stand there and watch you do it. And because I know how to do it, I'll know if you're doing it right or not. So I'm a firm believer that there's no aspect of the brewing operation of this company that I should not know how to do. Does that mean I'm doing it every day? Fuck no. I'm too old for that shit. But
I'm not carrying that 50-pound sack of grain, y'all.
But hold on. No, if I need to, I will. Is it my job every day to do it? No. But the day is going to come where I'm like, hey.
This is how you carry the one sack. Now bring in 55 of them.
But at the same time, there's going to be a day where like I'm going to put together a recipe and like, I'm brewing this beer on the pub system. I'm doing it. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get to a point where like, I'm doing it. No one else is allowed in the room today. I'm just doing it because I need to do it. That's going to happen. So is it my job on a daily basis? Absolutely not. Is it my job to make sure the guys that are doing it on a daily basis are doing it up to the level of quality and the procedure and process that we want? Absolutely. And to me, the only way to create those processes and be able to convey them to other people is to know and have done them yourself. I spent all day today cleaning tanks. I spent part of the day yesterday cleaning tanks. We've identified we need to work on some things in tank cleaning. So what did I do the last 2 days? I dug into how we clean tanks. and worked on, okay, this is how we're doing it. All right, I don't like this. I like this. Blah, 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 blah. I've done that the last 2 days. Is my plan to do that every day from here forward? Of course not. But I'm going to do that until I feel like I've got a good feeling for how we do it, how we want to change it, how we want to get it in place. And we'll get that in place, and we'll get everybody trained to do it. And when I feel everybody is good on how to do it to where I don't need to be standing there when they do it, then I'll go on to the next thing. And so that's how we will work through everything. But absolutely, there's nothing in this process that I shouldn't know how to do and be able to do if I have to.